Yeah, what's up? So I had this thought that I wanted to share publicly. Um, Walking in the spirit takes work. I know it sounds easy or it may it sound confusing, but simply put, I'm going to put it in the framework of my job. In order to walk in line with the standards of my job, I have to be invested at a deeper level so I can execute at the level that's acceptable with my job. I can't just connect to this job and just clock in where I can, and many people do. But for me, I can't do that, especially being a manager. I have to be dialed in, I have to be locked in to what the task is at hand if I'm actually serious about my job. I got to look at uh, metrics. I have to increase the capacity of my mind to understand certain things because that is what is required of me. I put it even simpler. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you have to invest yourself in the relationship. What's the point of having a relationship with somebody that's a holdout, that's not emotionally available, that's not physically available to a certain extent in certain seasons? What is the point of being with somebody if they're not going to invest in the relationship themselves? You might as well not be with them. And it's the same way when it comes to a job, a church, or whatever. What's the point of you gathering together if you're not investing yourself into the relationship, the business, your job, whatever? We live in a world and we live in a society where people are used to just clocking in for a check. But it's like that's the reason why you're miserable because all you're doing is you're clocking in for a check. You're clocking in for yourself. You're being selfish. And let me go ahead and turn it back around to the spiritual aspect of it. You can't be selfish with God. Walking in the spirit takes work. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 11 says, "Let us work that we may enter into that rest, so that we won't be found with a heart of unbelief." So when it comes to walking in the spirit, that's simply being in the word, being in prayer, doing all the things that you need to do to keep yourself centered around God and making sure that you're keeping yourself in check. And quite frankly, there's people that look more spiritual and churchy and whatever you want to call it than anybody else. But at the end of the day, it's just all an act, and they're a hypocrite because they're not doing the work of resting in God. They're just doing the work of looking good amongst people. I don't care how much you pray, how much you fast, and all this other stuff, in church or out of church. Ultimately, at the end of the day, they're not resting. And it reminds me of this video that I saw by Jackie Hill Perry today on her stories. Martha was doing all of this work, and then she got pissed at her sister Mary because her sister Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus. Jesus said that Martha should rest at the feet of Jesus like her sister Mary was doing. And I believe that that's a word for any and everybody in any context, but especially in the church. Learn to rest more. And resting requires work. Why does it require work? Because you have to work to stay still. You have to work to trust in God. You have to work to infuse the teachings of Jesus on you so that you can have the rest that he has promised. It doesn't come easy. We live in a world that has many distractions and has a whole lot of things to do. And sometimes it's just hard to just stop and pause. But I just wanted to make this video to say, do the work that it takes to actually walk in the spirit, which is the intention of what God wants us to do with our lives. Pause enough to hear from God. Pause enough to know when to move and when not to move. Do the work of resting. Just like at any job, I have to do the work. The real work is not serving trades and being hospitable. The real work is being in line with the way that the shack wants you to work. And sometimes that might be contrary to what your natural tendency is, because maybe you're not a hospitable person, or maybe you're a pig and you don't like to clean up after yourself when you cook. Whatever the case may be, it is work to walk in line with the spirit of your job, with the spirit of your spouse, your significant other. It's work. And a lot of people are lazy. So anyways, it takes work to rest. And the point of this video is just to say that and to encourage you to do the work. That's it. That's all. Happy MLK Day. Have a great one.